So, hello everyone. Last week we read Parashat Shlach. Moshe sends a delegation of spies to Israel to check on the land. Among the spies that Moshe sent was Yehoshua from the tribe of Ephraim, and Caleb from the tribe of Judah. It's interesting that Moshe calls Yehoshua, and only him, and changes his name from Hoshea to Yehoshua. He adds the Yud into his name to make his name more powerful. And he says, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Yoshiacha will save you me'atzat meraglim. Atzat meraglim, from the conspiracy of your fellow spies. So, why did Moshe pray just for Yehoshua, not for the others? Because Rabbi Uziel, which is Azkara is tonight, the one that's buried in Amuka. So he made a translation on the Torah, and he writes in his commentary that Yehoshua was such a humble man, and because of his humility, he would. It's not that he would agree to their point of view, but he won't say whatever he wants to say, because of he's so humble. And he was afraid that because of his humility, he won't be influenced by all the other spies. So he prayed for him, and Baruch Hashem, the prayer really helped. So we know that the spies, they spoke bad falsehood about the land of Israel, except Caleb and Yehoshua. See how much Yehoshua had to put an effort not to be influenced by these people. And some rabbis say not to express his thoughts, because if he would express his thoughts next to them, they considered him like their friend, so they said whatever they wanted. If not, they would hide whatever they think, would not say it next to him. So in a way, Moshe prayed for Yehoshua to be smart. Okay, where do we see Yehoshua the first time in the Torah? In Sefer Shemot, it says about Yehoshua, Umeshalto, the servant of Moshe, Yehoshua bin Nun, Na'a, a lad, Lo Yamish mitoch ha'ol. He's not parting from the tent, from where Moshe is. A lad. Well, at that time when they left Egypt, he was around 42 years old, Yehoshua. And Rashi says in the introduction to Masechet Avot, it says Moshe kibel Torah miSinai umesara leYehoshua, gave it, passed it to Yehoshua, right? So over there it says that Yehoshua had the privilege to be the servant of Moshe. Why? Because he was with him all the time. Didn't leave him for a second. Constantly was there. Didn't look as a young guy for his own comfort, for his own things, whatever he liked. He was there with Moshe all the time, seeing all the troubles, all the difficulties, the way that he tries to lead the people. And the Chazal, they say about Yehoshua, Notzel te'ena ochel priya. There's something that's written in Sefer Mishlei, wrote it Shlomo HaMelech, about the figs. When we have the fruit of the figs, what's so special about fig? Fig is this kind of a fruit that you can't really collect it. As it gets ripened, you collect everything and you go and sell it. It doesn't go like this. A fig is this kind of a fruit that every day new fruits gets ripened, you cannot collect them, all of them in one shot. You have to have, especially in the morning, before the sun rises, you go, you collect just the one that ripened, and that's it. The next day you collect some more. Basically, when you take care of a fig tree, you have to have a lot of patience. You have to have a lot of persistence, and that's what the rabbis said about Yehoshua, was being there with Moshe all these 40 years, didn't move from him, like this, when we take care of figs, the same kind of a thing. So he had a lot of patience, controlled himself, restrained himself, so you won't eat this fig, let's say, when it's not ready yet. And this is what we speak of, what the rabbis say about Yehoshua, and this is why he became the successor after Moshe. So, when Moshe is supposed to die, and he knows that he's supposed to die, he asks Hashem, please, I served you, I saved the Jewish nation, I did it, everything faithfulness, everything was okay. Now I want my children to continue my way. Hashem says, it's true, you did a great job, but your children cannot continue. The one that will continue your way will be Yehoshua, because Yehoshua was there all the time. Yehoshua, it says, Gdola shimusha yoter milimuda. It's sometimes more important to serve the rabbis than sometimes to learn Torah, because by serving the rabbi you see all the time how he acts here, how he acts there, when he needs to respond, when he needs to hold himself. When, it's very important to see how exactly to do it, and therefore he can apply it later on, as he's going to be the leader, these talents, to his leadership. Next time when we see, the truth is that the first time that we see Yehoshua in the Torah is when, after they leave Egypt and they're in the desert, the first nation that come to fight against the Jews are the Amalek come to fight against the first ones. Interesting says that Moshe calls Yehoshua and tells him, go choose some people, and I want you to lead the fight against Amalek. Yehoshua is a young guy. He doesn't have these skills of warrior or something, never used to do these things, but Moshe appoints him to fight against Amalek, and that's what he does. It says, Vayachalosh Yehoshua et Amalek v'et Amo lefi Charav. He defeats them. He did exactly whatever Moshe told him to do. Why Amalek? He doesn't have the skills of he's not a hero. He doesn't know how to fight, because Moshe knows already from that time that Yehoshua, is going to have a great role in inheriting the land of Israel to the Jewish people, and he wants to prepare him for all the wars that he's going to have as he comes to Israel. כן, כן.
יהושע היה לוחם לפני כן. שמעתי, הוא היה בן של מלכים.
יהושע?
יהושע. אני שמעתי את הסיפור שלו, חטפו אותו, וכן, סיפור, הוא היה לוחם.
I read so much midrashim about Yehoshua today, yesterday, the whole week. I didn't see that. They said that he was the president of Shevet Ephraim.
דווקא הרב פתאום מספר שהוא ערק במו ידיו את ההורים שלו עם המלאכים.
יהושע?
כן, חטפו אותו, הוא גדל אצל אנשים מסוכנים, הוא היה לוחם. אחרי שהוא בא אצל משה רבנו, הוא נהיה יותר המון, יותר כבר ויתר על הכל, הוריד את הראש, והתחיל לעקוב אחרי משה רבנו.
Interesting. I didn't see that. But it's very, very interesting.
אני רוצה להגיד דיטל, שם הרבה יש.
Yeah. So, Moshe Rabbeinu was the leader of Am Yisrael. He was the one that accepted the Torah, that got the Torah from Hashem, right? nobody came close to Moshe Rabbeinu, you know, in his prophecy, in the way that he was close to Hashem. Panim el panim adaber bo b'mar'eh ve'lo b'chilot. He was. But we see that Yehoshua also had a lot of good qualities, and he get a lot of strength from Moshe and from Hashem to be able to lead the Jewish people. You know that to lead the Jewish people after Moshe Rabbeinu, being Yehoshua and seeing all the struggles that Moshe had to go through with these people, it wasn't an easy task. I would say even an impossible task. And Yehoshua, you will never see it in any other place. He get so much strength from Moshe and from Hashem. So many times it says, Chazak ve'ematz. Don't be afraid. I'll be with you. Chazak ve'ematz. Keep saying it. Sometimes in one pasuk, 2 times, 3 times. In Sefer Dvarim, so many times it says, and then in Sefer Yehoshua also says, Hashem keeps telling him, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Moshe keeps telling him, don't be afraid, because to be in the shoes of Moshe Rabbeinu, I guess it's a very hard mission. It's not an easy thing, and Yehoshua gets it. So we see that Moshe, in his time, the way that Hashem conducted with the Jewish people was everything with miracles. Everything. The man, the ananim, the clouds, the Torah, all the things that happened in Egypt, everything was constantly with miracles. Yehoshua needs to bring them to Israel. And in Israel, it's not going to be constant with miracles. Yes, it will be with miracles, but it's going to look in a natural way. So Yehoshua have to teach them how to do everything, how everything will look like in a natural way. Of course, Hashem does everything, but it's very interesting how Yehoshua passed it to the people. So it says, Moshe kibel Torah miSinai u'msara leYehoshua in Avot. Yehoshua was the servant of Moshe. It's interesting when Hashem tells Moshe that he's supposed to go to the mountain, make sure nobody comes with him because it's a holy place to accept the Torah. Moshe takes with him Yehoshua. It never says in any place that Moshe is supposed to take Yehoshua with him, and he takes him with him. Yehoshua doesn't go up to the mountain with Moshe. He stays in the bottom of the mountain, and he doesn't go back to the camp. He's supposed to be there for 40 days. For 40 days he waits there all by himself in the bottom of the mountain. It says that he made himself this tent, he stayed there. Why didn't he go back to the camp where Israel were? Because Moshe wants to prepare Yehoshua for his big mission. Yehoshua is not going to be only the one that will inherit Israel, the land of Israel, to the people. He is going also to deliver them, to pass them the Torah. So אומר הנציב in his פירוש, העמק הדבר, about the Torah, and Moshe got the Torah straight from Hashem, and he was kind of the tube that will pass this written Torah that he gets to Yehoshua. Yehoshua will be the one that will be in charge of the oral Torah that will be given to Israel later on. It says that Moshe, before he passes away, he tells the Jewish people, I know that after I die, you'll do sins, you'll do wrong things, but it says that all this time that Yehoshua was alive, they didn't make sins, they listened to him, they obeyed, and this is the privilege that Yehoshua had, because all of these chizukim that he got. It says, Pnei Moshe kifnei chama, the face of Moshe was shining like the sun, and Pnei Yehoshua kifnei levana, like the moon, shines like the moon. Sun has its own light. Moon gets its light from the sun. Doesn't have its own light, gets it from the sun. Another interesting thing is that the sun's light is steady, it's constant, it's always there. The moon renews all the time, doesn't stay the same thing. And still yet get all its power, its strength, its light from the sun. It's interesting that as long as the sun is there, the moon doesn't really shine. When does the moon start to shine? When the sun has set, this is when the moon starts to shine. As long as Moshe was around, Yehoshua didn't have prophecies, or he wasn't a leader and didn't show himself as a leader. As Moshe passes away, this is when he starts to shine. This is how he starts to lead. And he led the Jewish nation in a very, very hard time, in a very, in the best way possible. So, as he gets into Israel, we see that he had to fight against 31 kings. It wasn't an easy thing. Fights all the time. And he made a lot of miracles between them. The Jordan River was split, like Yam Suf. The walls of Jericho fell. It was a whole big thing. We'll soon talk about this. Big hail came from heaven on top of all these enemies. And the biggest miracle of all, Shemesh begivon dom ve'yareach be'emek ayalon. It was the first one ever that changed, that stopped the movement of the sun and the moon and all the stars, right? Stopped. Why? Because they were in the middle of chasing the animals. They didn't want to violate Shabbat, and so he asked the sun not to set, and it was the greatest miracle. It says never happened before, something like that. So Yehoshua was in charge of very, very important miracles. He also fixed certain regulations to people who came to Israel. In the desert, as they were in the desert, they didn't have to work on their own lands. They didn't have their own portions, their own lands. And over there, as they come to Israel, he has to teach them all kind of laws. So what happens if you see something in a public domain? Whose is it? Naphtali's tribe, Zvulun's tribe, Issachar's tribe, who's going to get it? He made certain regulations. For example, if somebody wants to collect some wood for heating, is he allowed to take wood from people's property? Is it allowed? Is it not allowed? He tells them if it doesn't make roots, if it just twigs, if it's simple, if this. He tells them what's allowed. If people want to, let's say, fish in the Kinneret, in the Sea of the Galilee, are they allowed? The Sea of Galilee belongs to the tribe of Naphtali, I believe. And so people are allowed to fish there. Whose is it exactly? So they say if you take with a fishing rod one by one, it's okay, but you cannot come with nets and start to take all the fish in there because it's not yours. It's these tribes. So he had to teach them all kind of laws. As he comes to Israel, it's not only that he gives them the land and he fights for them. He teaches them. He tells them the Torah. He makes with them some covenants over there. He works with them. He leads them in the right way. Second bracha in Birkat HaMazon, al haaretz v'al HaMazon, was a bracha that Yehoshua fixed. Last 8 psukim of the Torah are psukim, some say that Yehoshua wrote, because Moshe, it says that Moshe passed away. Some say that Moshe was writing it from Hashem, tearing and writing it. Some say that Yehoshua wrote it. He wrote the whole book of Yehoshua. And something that we all read every day, it's called Aleinu L'Shabeach. We'll soon talk about this. He wrote this book, this Mizmor also. Okay. Yehoshua, as I said before, got so much strengthening from Moshe and from Hashem. When many years before he was born, when Yaakov blesses Menashe and Ephraim. We remember it, right? So he blesses first Ephraim. And Yosef tells him, no, please, Menashe is the oldest, please Menashe first. He says, I know he's going to be a big one, Menashe. Gidon is going to come from him. But the younger one, Ephraim, he's going to become greater because Yehoshua is going to come out of him. He's going to bring Israel, the Israel people, to the land of Israel. So already many years ago, we know that Yehoshua is designed for this kind of a mission. Then, when Moshe blesses all the tribes before he enters Israel, before they enter Israel, before he dies, he says something like that. Bechol shour, הדר לו, וקרני ראם וכולי, עמי מנגח ירדה ואפסי ארץ והם רבבות אפרים וכולי. Bechor is like the king. He's the most important. He's the firstborn. Bechor shour is the ox. Ox it's very strong usually. But ox doesn't have nice horns. An antelope does have a nice horns. So he's going to be like a strong ox with very nice horns of the antelope, and he's going to be the one that is going to fight against all these people in Israel, and is going to defeat them. All these thousands and thousands and thousands of people, he's going to defeat them. This is something that Moshe tells the tribe of Ephraim before he passes away, before he dies. I told you, so many times it says, Chazak ve'ematz, I'll be with you, don't be afraid. Tfilat Alenu Shabeach, Yehoshua wrote the day that they were circling Jericho. For 7 days they go around, they pray, they blow the shofar, they make a lot of kavanot, right? And then he writes this Alenu Shabeach. With all these tefillot that they've done, with all these circlings that they did, the Aron HaBrit that was with them, okay? The shofarot and this praying of Alenu Shabeach, Hashem made them the miracle, and the walls of Jericho just sunk inside itself. They were so heavy, they were so big, they were so wide. Nobody could touch, nobody could do anything with them, and miraculously it just came down, and name of Yehoshua is written in this book. Then they come and they need to first, so in the Haftarah of this Parashat Shlach about the spies, we read about another spies that happened in Yehoshua. Yehoshua himself now sends spies to Israel. Now this time he doesn't do it a whole big delegation, 12 people, a whole big thing, tour the land for 40 days. No, he sends 2 people, Caleb, that was the first spy and spoke good about Israel, and Pinchas, that was an angel, we know it was a Leo. He sends these 2 people and he tells them, in 3 days you're back. You just to go to see what's the situation of the people, how they feel, what they say, and tell me exactly what happens. So these spies, it says in the Haftarah of the Parasha, they go to Rachav. Rachav, she was a lady, she had a hotel, she would sell anything, and she lived over there, and they come to her to Jericho. Jericho is this nice place. So it's in the border, and they come to her first. The king of Jericho hears that there's 2 spies. We don't know exactly how he heard, because they came really quietly. They came like businessmen, nobody would know, and they didn't make a whole big deal, and yet he understood, right, that there are spies over there. He tells Rachav, he sends messengers and tells her, you have to give me these people that you're hiding. She says, yeah, there were 2 people here, but I don't know where they are. They left already. They went back to to where they came from. It's the border is there, the Jordan River. So she tells him, go quickly, chase after them so that you'll catch them. Meanwhile, she hides her. She hides them in the attic, and after the messengers go, she goes and she talks to them and she tells them, listen, we heard of all whatever happened to you as you left Egypt, all the miracles that happened to Jewish people. We heard about the splitting of the Yam Suf and the fact that you were able to defeat these two big and strong kings of the Amori, Sichon, Melech Amori, and Og Melech Bashan, this giant, and you were able to defeat them. You don't know, us, we, the people here, we are so terrified, we're frightened, we don't know what to do. You'll be able to do it, don't worry, she tells them. So she tells them, if I'll help you, you're going to help my family, my parents, my sisters, my brother, whoever is in this house. They promise her, right? And they tell her, put a sign out of your window, this red thread or rope, okay? We'll know not to touch this home. She sends them to the mountains, against, not the same location where she said before to the king, to the Jordan, really to the mountains. She told for 3 days go there and then come back. So they go, they hide for 3 days, and as those people didn't find their spies, they go back to Yehoshua, and then they inform him that these people are so terrified they can come and conquer the land with not a problem. That's exactly what happens. They go there to Jericho, and then they surround the place for 7 days, and then the walls fall, and they're able to conquer the place. The first fight in Israel was a big, big success. Good. With the help of Rachab. Who was Rachab? Rachab was one of the 4 most beautiful ladies that lived ever. You know 4 of them? Rachab. Sarah, Abigail, wife of David, Rachab, and Esther HaMelech. 4 ladies, says in Masechet Megillah, were the most beautiful women lived ever. She was around 50 at that time of when the spies come to her. And what was interesting about this lady is, we know being in a hotel, selling goods, being in touch with a lot of guests that come, and it says in the Midrashim that she was in touch with all the kings, with all the big shots, with all the important guys. She knew politics. She was involved in everything. This is the reason that they came to her. And being in such a position, you understand that this woman wasn't the most righteous woman in the world. Yet, when she saw how Hashem treats the Jewish people, the miracles and all whatever that, she made a difference. What is this difference that she made? She decides that she doesn't stay like that and watches and continues and helps and continues in her way of life. She wants to be a part of these Jewish people. It wasn't easy for her. She came from the lowest point, okay? And she changes all her lifestyle because she believes in something now. She believes that there is Hashem. She believes in the Jewish nation. She believes she has to change her ways. And she does all this change just to be connected to the Jewish people. It says that she was one of the 10, one of these righteous women that converted themselves to Judaism. Hagar, wife of Abraham. Osnat, some say that she was a converted Jew. Tzipora, wife of Moshe. Shifra and Puah, some say that they were converted Jews. Bat Paro, Batia, the daughter of Paro. Rachab, and Ruth and Yael. Well, Ruth and Yael are so famous, we know them. We know Ruth HaMoaviyah, grandmother of David. She came much, much later. She was among the first Rachab that changed her view, that changed her lifestyle. What is Rachab in Hebrew? Wide. She was open-minded. she wasn't, that's what I am. I'm 50 already. I live all my life this kind of way. Leave me alone, that's what I know. No, she was open-minded. She heard that there's these people, she made a difference. She wanted to change herself. This is not an easy thing. And she changed. She left all her past back over there. All the all these things that what people might say about her, what people might think about her, and she believed that she comes close to Hashem. Hashem will forgive her, and she starts from scratch. This is a message to all of us. We can all start from scratch. Baruch Hashem, we're not in this lower point where she was, but we have to ignore all these voices that keep despairing us. Leave it, it's not for you, you don't know, leave it to other people, you cannot make a change, you're used to it already, and the biggest proof that she was a righteous, what is the biggest proof that she was righteous? That she married Yehoshua, and there were 8 and some say 10 Nevi'im, prophets and Kohanim that came from her, offsprings of her. Baruch, Neriah, Sariyah, Machasiyah, Yirmiyahu. You all know Yirmiyahu. He was the prophet.
These are all grandchildren, right? Because
Yeah,
she had one girl.
yeah. Chilkiyahu, Chanamel, Shalom, Yechezkel, Uvuzi. Yechezkel, Uvuzi היו כהנים, and they were prophets. They all are her children. And some say of Huldah Neviah. Huldah Neviah was a female prophet. Also she came also from Rachel. He told me the truth. If a woman did it just for a show, if a woman did it because she didn't believe, she wanted, it was, they were in a high position, she wanted to find favor. If it wouldn't be real, would her children become such big prophets, such big people? It shows that she really changed her ways. Yehoshua would not take her, we know that Yehoshua got married to her, Yehoshua would not take her if she wasn't real, if she would be a fake, God forbid. So this is something strong that we learn from Yehoshua and Rachel. Harav Nissim Yagen, in his book, writes, לא המדרש עיקר, אלא מעשה. Midrash is talking, saying, והמעשה is actual deeds. Knowledge of Hashem, knowing that there is Hashem there, that He makes miracles, that there is a very important nation there, it's not enough. Knowledge is good, but it's not enough. What important is what do we do with this knowledge? You have to bring it into your heart and start carrying it out practically. Do the mitzvot, do the laws, what the Torah wants from you, and what the Torah requires from you, what you're supposed to do. Chazal say that Yehoshua got married to Rachel, and these big righteous people came out of her. How can this low person, pick this high mountain, become the wife of Yehoshua, and a mother to all these important Nevi'im, right? Because she was in this. It says when they came to this place, it says Lo techayeh kol neshama. Rachav was one of these nations that they were not supposed even to keep them alive. Yet they, when the spies came, they promised her that they will keep her. There were 200 people in that house when they were supposed to save, and they saved all of them because they kept their promise. And this is what it says. לא רק וידעת היום, like it says in עלינו לשבח. Yehoshua wrote עלינו לשבח. What do we write over there? First of all, we have to thank Hashem, and for that He didn't make us like all the other nations, and He made us different. Like, hey, they pray, they worship all kind of idols and nothing, emptiness, and we pray to Hashem. It says, וידעת היום, והשבות על לבביך. Not only that you know that there is Hashem, but והשבות על לבביך. You implement it into your heart, and you try to work around this, to do the mitzvot also, כי השם הוא אלוקים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת עינינו. Rahab also had a prophecy. When these spies are coming to her, she tells them, כי ידענו, כי השם הוא אלוקים בשמיים מעל. Hashem is the God in heaven and in earth and underneath the earth. She used exactly the same words that Yehoshua used here in Alenu L'Shabeach. Second part, by the way, Al Ken Nekavel Lecha, is written by Achan. Achan was this guy from Shevet Yehuda. Yehoshua tells them not to touch anything from whatever they captured whatever they collected in Jericho, and he came and he took some things, and he wanted to show that he's a big shot, he's not obeying Yehoshua. And by the Choshen they were able to find who was the one that stole these things, and they punished him. But he was the one that wrote Al Ken Nekavel Lecha, the second part of it. Can we make this difference? There was this young teacher, a Rebbe, that taught in a yeshiva, young boys. And he was in the middle of the shour when, at that point, all of a sudden, a supervisor comes to his school. Now, when a supervisor comes to check on how you teach and what's your curriculum and how you conduct yourself with students, it's kind of scary because you don't feel comfortable. Somebody inspects you, watches you. He comes inside with some other educators and teachers and maybe principals. They all check on you, see how you're doing it. And so you don't feel so comfortable when those people